Bravo. Inopo Sally Gonzalez. Good morning. My name is Sally Ann Gonzalez, and I represent LD3 in Tucson. First, I would like to apologize for not being there in person. And second, I would like to thank Joanne Romero for the invitation to dialogue with you. I have been a state representative for 12 years. I was first elected in 1996 and served 4 years in the House. And then in 2002, I got out of politics and stayed out of politics for 10 years. But in 2010, I was encouraged to run again. It was the year that it became very contentious with the Republicans doing a lot of bad things for Arizona citizens. And the two prime examples that really prompted me to run again was 1070. And as you know, like Gotham people, the Yaquis have people on both sides of the border. And it was really 1070 was a really hateful legislation for us brown people and for indigenous people, even though we were not the target. The target was immigrants coming in from Mexico, but the law was really discriminatory, was really badly written, and it gave just police, any police, not just Border Patrol, the legality and the right to harass us as they have for hundreds of years. And so it was that prompted me to go back into politics and run again. The other issue was education, and the Republicans also banning Mexican American studies with TUSD. Now, I am Yaqui, but Mexican American studies is important in my district because I served over 50% of my constituents are Mexican Americans. But the most important thing is that the legislators should not have banned Mexican American studies. And, you know, they could have said that for Native American studies, Black studies, so they were just targeting Mexican American studies. Also, it was in part due to the immigration issue. But that program in TUSD was a really successful program before they dismantled it and actually banned it. As some of you will remember, the legislature also banned a lot of the books that were being used in that very successful program, where it was open to all. It was mostly at Tucson High, and you know, the students were very successful. And over 90% of those students that were in the Mexican American Studies program went on for higher education, whether to a community college or university. And that is why it was important to go against this ban on Mexican American studies. But I would like to go back as to what's happening now. And we face these kinds of threats every day at the legislature. My Republican colleagues do not understand indigenous people, their rights, their land rights, their language, their you know, just their sovereignty from the rest of the state government and the rest of the community. And so they write these legislations that really negatively affect us. And so that's why you know, I'm really proud to be there as an advocate, as a voice for Native people. We're in the minority. I'm a Democrat in a Republican-led legislature, but we have a role there. And the role for us and for me is an important one as an advocate for all indigenous peoples of Arizona and the country, really, because we don't live in isolation. and we shouldn't. We need to speak in broader sense, and we need to unite as a people. And so that's just a little bit about me and why I am I would prefer to call myself a policymaker, not a politician. The issues that I work on the most is health. As you know, health is very important. Without our health, we can't really get up and do what we want to do in life, in every day. Go to work, go to school, go to church, or even have quality of life. So I work to be able to, for all people to be able, and I believe that all of us should have health care, even though, and provide it to us, even if we can't afford it. The second thing is education. If, as a former classroom teacher, education is very important. And for all parents, for all people, education is a value that we have in our culture, in our communities. And so I am fighting at the legislature for more funding for all schools, for quality teachers and paying teachers a salary that shows that we value the work that they're doing with our children, and that we fund education, especially K-12, fully, so that our children can really have a better way of life, because education to me is how we help students have a quality of life. Now, for higher education, you know, the legislature has been cutting and cut funds for Pima Community College, as well as the 3 universities, and that hasn't been right. And so we're working, Democrats are working to get more funding, to bring back the funding before it was cut, and so we'll be working on that issue. The next issue is that I work on also is Indian gaming. Indian gaming is important for all of our tribes and nations in Arizona. I happen to have been on the tribal council with Pascuayaqui in '94 when we sued the state for Indian gaming, and I'm really proud that Tohono, Pascuayaqui, White River, White Mountain Apache, and the Fort McDowell were the 4 tribes that sued the state. I'm really proud that my people joined Otham and the other 2 tribes to sue the state. Indian gaming is a win-win for everybody, not just for indigenous communities, because it brings revenue that otherwise we would not have for education, healthcare, social services, housing. Those are the things that we use that money for. And it also creates jobs for our community members. And so it's important. Plus, the state benefits, all of Arizona benefits from Indian gaming. So to me, we have to continue that. I would like to tell you that I have always supported Tohono O'odham in the West Valley casino and their right to have it there, sometimes against my colleagues, but as an indigenous member of the legislature, I think that it was important for me to support your endeavor, and I'm really happy that you now have a casino and that everything, all the litigation, has ended, and that you are building now on, I know that there was a groundbreaking, and that you're building a nice new facility out in the West Valley, and I wish Tohono O'odham great success in that. I think I will stop there. I'm sorry I'm not there for any questions. The last thing I want to talk about is how important it is for all of us to vote. Voting is our voice, and I know for years and decades and for time immemorial, indigenous people have always felt disenfranchised by federal government, the state government, county governments, school governments, but we need to step up to the plate, and we need to let them hear our voices through our vote. It is so important. We do make a difference, especially Atam people. You can bring people that you want over the top because there's so many of you. And so I know there's a movement on the reservation for voter registration, and I would really like to find somebody that will run for the legislature from the Atam community, and I will work with that person to help them, go through the process and just share my experience with them. But please, if you're not already registered to vote, please register to vote and exercise that right when in any of the elections, whether it's for school board, whether it's at the tribal level, whether it's the state. In August is the primary for the state legislature. That's when I'm going to, hopefully I'm running for the Senate this year. And so I would like to invite, if you have family members that live in Tucson, my district is in the southwest side of Tucson. That includes downtown and the University of Arizona. And so you have family there in that area, in the southwestern part of Tucson. They're my constituents. Please tell them to go out and vote, and please ask them to vote for me, so that I may continue to be an advocate for all Indigenous people. Lastly, I would like to invite, because you live in Phoenix metro area, that you come visit me at the Capitol. We are there Monday. I am there Monday through Thursday, and I would welcome you to come visit me, talk to me, dialogue with me. If you have any questions, you can email them to me, and just let me know that you heard me through this YouTube video at the Indian Medical Center, Phoenix Indian Medical Center, and I'll know where the question is coming from. So please email me any questions at sgonzales, GONZALES at azleg.gov. So I look forward to getting emails from you, and hopefully I can answer your questions. But I thank you again for the invitation to dialogue, and I hope to, at another occasion, get invited back, and that I will be able to attend in person. Thank you.